Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube. Welcome to Jibber Jabber. I am your host, as always, Skijaramas, otherwise known as Tone Shift. With me today, we have pretty much just the usual suspects. We don't really have a whole lot of variety this time, but that's fine because these people are great. First of all, just going down the list, we have, in the British corner, Darkness.
Hey.
Further in the background, we have a Soviet starfish.
I bought a truck.
Good for you.
That starfish is glaring in increasing disgruntlement and irritation at Paladin, who is staring into your soul.
Yee.
Yay. And last but not least, over in the British corner as well, we have Tom117Z.
This comfort ice cream is very nice.
You lucky bugger.
So, before we
It's
get
chocolate.
before we get too much further, I real quickly want to address why there was not an episode of Jibber Jabber last week. Truth is, I was just feeling lazy that week. I was tired. I had just finished FFD6, and I wasn't quite feeling up to it, so I just decided, let's not. Shitty reason, I know, but sometimes I just need to not. We've been doing this thing on a basically weekly basis for like over 50 weeks. Sometimes I want a break. But anyways. So, how's everyone's week been, eh? Or the last 2 weeks, rather, since we didn't go last time.
Well, as I stated before, I bought a truck, and it is the bane of my existence.
Then why do you have
It doesn't, because I needed a vehicle. The last vehicle I was driving was my dad's car, and that went back to the credit company because we couldn't pay for it. So then I took $1,500 of my own money and bought my brother's old truck. Which, I mean, admittedly, it's a fine vehicle. It just has some niche qualities. Like, if you want to go straight, you have to keep the steering wheel slightly tilted to the left because it's an old truck, and it will follow the ruts in the road instead of the positioning of the steering wheel.
Huh.
And it doesn't have air conditioning.
Oh.
So, again, I have dubbed this truck the fuck-mothering bastard.
I know you're
Because
pain.
that's what it is.
My mother car hasn't got any.
Excuse me, I'm a muck-feathering truck. I have killed a lot of people to get this title. I expect to be called such.
Oh,
Nice.
also, it doesn't have automatic headlights, so I have to turn them on myself.
Mm.
And the headlight knob also controls the cargo light for the thing, and they don't turn off by themselves. So if I accidentally leave the knob turned to the left, it will go until the battery's dead.
Who designed this car?
It's called
Some-
Ford, and it came out in the 90s.
Okay, that explains
What
it.
a-
Oh.
It's a 25-year-old
old.
vehicle.
Now, see,
It is now an antique.
Okay, see, I say that explains a lot, but I know fuck all about vehicles, so in truth that explains nothing to me, but I'm just going along with it because I assume you all know something about it.
Poor
It's
old
old,
Ford.
therefore we didn't have some of the systems that came out in like the early to mid 2000s, like automatic headlights.
Right. Alright.
I went to a Ford company once.
Smile and wave and pretend you know what he's talking about.
My week's
As
been interesting, to say the least. I'd say the present highlight is I got to write more of Wind Whisper. Finally got to do some stuff with that character again. Just fun. But yeah. So I believe that wraps up introductions. Unless anyone else has anything they wish to add. Anything else? they
Well,
want to talk about for
I-
their weeks?
I've got Monday off.
Okay.
Nice.
Not really.
As for me, the previous week before this week, pretty shit, except for FFD6. That just put a big smile on my face. And this week, it's been a lot better, I say.
All right. Well, on the topic of FFD6 being super smile-inducing, that's actually our first topic. We need to recap last week's FFD6 session. We didn't
Woohoo!
we didn't play this week because Hades, one of the players, is currently over in BronyCon, so he's in Baltimore, way off center, not able to join us. But that's okay.
Lucky bastard is stupid.
Isn't it the last one, if I recall?
Yes, it is.
It is.
But yeah, let's go ahead and recap a couple weeks ago's F56 session. So it was a pretty mellow session. There wasn't any big adventure stuff happening this time. No
I
combat
made
encounters.
Skajarma squeak.
Hey, Tone.
You did do that. What?
I want to stop you for a moment. You said Baltimore. Don't you mean Baltimore?
No, I mean
Shut the fuck up. I will actually kill you.
Wrong universe.
dear.
Moving on.
no, I mean Baltimore. Baltimore is in Equestria, and we are not.
We all wish, though.
Yeah, not
Oh,
really, because they have fucking Tyrek and Chrysalis, and I don't want to meet them. Equestria has dark magic. I don't want to.
I mean, unless it's
Come on,
your
Tone. We
particular
all know
brand of
you go
Chrysalis.
for Chrysalis.
Here's the thing. That's fan fiction Chrysalis. That means she does whatever the hell I want. Actual Chrysalis would not.
No one
See,
ever
in
said
order
you had
to
to go
appease
to
you,
the
I have
shows
brought you a
version of
virgin
Equestria.
sacrifice. Tosses Tone tied up in a fucking hog tie with a
You. Fuck
with a gag in
This
his
will
mouth.
end exactly how it did in ADC in spring. Huge behind
And
the
what
curve.
makes you think she spare you? You should tear you
Excuse me,
apart
I'm
as well.
trying to recap Final Fantasy.
No.
So last time the party finally made it to the Academy City of Anima, which they'd been talking about reaching since session 1. So 15 sessions, they finally fucking get there. That's like a whole arc in its own right out of the way, so like a sub arc. They
Well,
finally
we
got
were
there.
delayed.
Plenty of times, yeah, but still, it took you a long ass time to get there, probably just because of the distances and travel time.
Also, I mean, someone delayed us a week.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You did.
I don't know who that was.
Bullshit. It was you. It was originally gonna be 2 weeks that you were in that town. Because of the way it
Jesus.
but I was running out of shit to have you guys do, and I wanted to get back to the main story, so I just said, fuck it, it's ready.
He said 1 to 2 weeks. And I assumed 1 because 2 weeks would be stupid.
2 weeks later. Yay!
Well, at any rate.
And if it was 2 weeks, we'd like time skip. Yay.
I mean, I rolled 3d7 and got a 14. Anyways. So. Anyway. Following that, the party, like I said, made it to the Academy City, and pretty much first thing that happened is Mika ran off with Alistair to get herself signed up with the Academy as a student, meaning she can't leave there for the foreseeable future, meaning she has technically left the party.
Sad.
Yeah,
Sad need
but
noises.
yeah, pretty much all of our last session amounted to 2 main things happening. Neothil going around the Academy City and asking at various locations within the campus grounds where that could potentially function as restaurants, and seeing whether or not she could get tables reserved. I almost said teats. What the fuck? She could get tables reserved. And eventually settled on one that happened to have a Tonberry working at the counter.
Heh. Aren't those supposed to be monsters, though?
I mean, yeah, generally speaking in Final Fantasy, but I mean, they're nice ones. This is one of the nice ones. In the context of the campaign setting we're in, they're not monsters per se. They do often clash with the other races, but that's mostly because of a culture gap. Because the Tonberries hold the concept of karma in such high regard, and they enforce it with a great deal of fervor. It's basically their religion. What you do good happens to you. You do bad happens to you. And they enforce that pretty much just as a matter of, almost as an instinct, really.
Makes sense.
By bad, they mean they'll stab you with a knife.
I mean, yeah, and that's why there's a lot of differences why a lot of them stay away from humans due to some nebulous perceived slight from the distant past that karma is still trying to repay. But anyway. So while Neothil was doing that, Thanatos took Rocket into the Central University building of the Academy City to see if they could find anyone who happened to know anything about Magitech and could fix her up a bit. Because she's still damaged and has been since session 1.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's been 15 sessions, and they only now get around to finally giving her some maintenance.
I mean, it wasn't our fault the ship exploded.
If Cogmog had actually been in the campaign, like he was supposed to be originally, then but anyways,
Who's supposed to play Kog'Maw?
Blank was supposed to play Cogmog, a Moogle
And
engineer.
then he just kind of ghosted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he the reason he didn't join is because he felt he couldn't actually meet the early morning Sunday schedule,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Also, because he's vanished aside from the only few times he rises from the grave and goes, "Woo, haunting."
I mean, he disappeared after that by a fair ways. But anyways, so
What did I say? Tell. No, you say blank. We want our story.
don't bug him. That'll just make it less likely to happen.
Like, I have talked to him twice since he was supposed to be in the D&D campaign. Don't bring it up.
He's kind of stressed about it, I guess.
I don't know. It's just I poked him both times about it, and it's just tone in his voice afterwards. And I'm guessing just don't.
All right.
Like, he'll talk about it when he wants to.
All right. Okie dokes. All right. So back to the recap. So Thanatos and Rocket eventually locate an engineer going by the name of Sid. So yes, we finally have Eno's Sid for this campaign. Every Final Fantasy needs a Sid, and I finally got ours.
We got a Sid.
We got a Sid. And he did some tune-ups on Rocket. Couldn't really do the full thing of maintenance because a lot of the modifications to her body are actually illegal. That, and he didn't even have the tools to work with to even attempt dabbling with those. So he just did some basic maintenance and repairs on, like, the outer stuff, like her mechanical leg, her head case, and just getting some of the dents out, greasing it up, getting rid of some minor breaks and whatnot. So yeah, she has a better range of movement now. Nothing that actually affected her stats, but in character, she's a lot more comfortable in her own skin now. So there's that. Following that, the party, everyone regrouped at a tavern, including Mika and Alistair. And amidst all of this, Mika and Neothil and their ever-developing romance subplot retired to a room where Neothil revealed the dress that had delayed them in Lolato for a week that she got for Mika. And they had this nice, involved, friendly conversation back and forth where Neothil basically announced in no uncertain terms, "We're going to dinner!" Not quite like that. It was a lot more nervous, anxious, jittery, and all around dorkward as all hell. But, yeah, who just disappeared?
So, that would be Pound. Oh god, he disconnected entirely.
Oh dear.
He'll be back.
Press F for Paladin's internet.
press F to pay respect. Anyway, so, and eventually what it ultimately amounted to is Neothil and Mika essentially went on a date. They went to dinner. And it was really touching, really sweet, all kinds of cheesy and sappy and stereotypical, but I loved it. It was kind of weird playing as Mika and all that because, she's the NPC party member, and so I'm the one who has to play her.
So you kind of made the DM a pseudo player for a while.
Pretty much, yeah. Mostly I added her just as a party member to help you with your subplot, with, that one of your character's goals, but also just so that the party would have a dedicated full-on healer. But I don't want to steal your but I don't want to steal your guys' thunder, and that's why she's going. Anyways,
And back.
Yep. Anyway,
Welcome.
so, yeah. After that, the party all after some final sort of last-minute confessions from the two of them and establishing what their relationship even was. They returned to the local inn, or rather, Mika went to the dorm she has in the Academy City, and that is where we left off. That's where we ended last time.
I'd like to apologize for leaving. My Wi-Fi's been cutting out a lot lately, so.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's what you get for getting the discount McDonald's Wi-Fi, Paladin.
I'm not using McDonald's Wi-Fi. I'm using country Wi-Fi. Get it right, fool.
Oh dear.
Can we not?
What the hell? I didn't expect to walk into this today.
Can we not? I don't wanna. I'm not in the
What's
mood.
happening now? Did I end up in this parts of the
I
state?
will get my Confederate flag and pickup truck and find your ass, Paladin.
I'll fucking my fire blazing grade 1.
I'll ban you both from my server.
Okay, I'll stop.
Put your guns and trucks away, boys.
Only
We're
one
doing
person
this
has the power
professionally.
here.
I mean, I've got a truck
Well,
too,
I do too. but-
Soviet. Mine has flames on it and it drives a lot better than yours.
Paladin.
Put it away.
Yeah.
I vote we move him to the timeout corner.
No.
Like, they don't got a gun
Stop
gun
it.
laying
Hell,
around the
you.
corner
Shit,
from
shit.
Put your
Paladin.
heads together.
Yeah.
Paladin.
Paladin.
Yeah.
Silence. We are imposing
Whatever.
Zen on this jibber jabber.
Alright.
Silent.
Okay. On to topic 2.
I blame Soviet.
You have to get the last word, you son of a gun.
I blame all of you, and we're done talking about that. Now, the last laugh. MLP Season 9 has finally resumed. Who all has seen the newest episode? Raise your hand or
I
down.
literally
deafening
just watched
myself.
it as we
Not I.
started.
Ping me when you're done.
One at a time,
What?
please. Soviet?
I literally just finished as we started.
Paladin?
Nope.
Darkness?
Nah, sorry.
Alright, cool. Alright. Well, then I guess pretty much Soviet and I are the only ones who have anything to say about this. Alright.
Go on then.
Well, overall, I liked it. Overall. It was fun, interesting, nice to see. It was nice to see Cheese Sandwich again. Weird Al's always an interesting pleasure to have around. The fun factory concept, or gag factory, I found that, I mean, I liked it. The overall episode was funny, and I enjoyed myself. The only part of it I don't necessarily think I liked that much was the color palette of the environment. I mean, it makes sense. It's a factory, and it's meant to go with the fact that Cheese was having a hard time, getting back into his role because he wasn't feeling satisfied with his work because he has to see ponies laughing to his gags to be satisfied by it. And so I guess in a sense the sort of dreary color palette of the factory itself matched that. But I don't know, it's a Cheese and Pinky episode. I felt like a few more colors would have done wonders, but that's a very tiny nitpick overall. So there was actually a fun little Easter egg that I noticed, or that Lumina and I noticed when we were watching it. In the clip where Pinkie Pie walks into Cheese's office early on in the episode when she's first arrived at the factory, if you look into the background in like the pile of stuff in the corner, there will be two things that are apparently Easter eggs. One is a Pinkie Pie plushie, and the other is a purple octopus squid thing that was from Powerpuff Girls, I think.
Wait. Really?
Yeah, and the pile of stuff behind Cheese's door, yeah.
Huh.
Okay, I have the episode downloaded, so I can go back through and find the clip and put a screen cap of it in chat later. But overall, I think I liked it. Probably my favorite line from it, or favorite exchange, would be before the intro even rolled, when Pinkie kept eating on this plastic invitation cupcake she had received, and Spike asked her, "Pinkie, are you sure that's edible?" And she just says, "I am not," and then keeps eating it anyway.
Fucking, that is great.
I love that. I love that.
You know, sometimes you just gotta make mistakes in life and then you roll with it.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure Pinkie Pie has a digestional tract made out of titanium, kind of like alicorn wombs.
Oh no.
Oh.
Lumina, no.
What?
Oh, dude.
What happened?
She fell asleep like me.
She fell asleep and now she's sad.
Oh.
Oops.
Hold
We
on.
could get her in here if she wants to come on.
I'm currently set on Do Not Disturb, so let me know what she says in response to that. But, Soviet, overall, what did you think?
Oh, she's responding. That was quick.
I really liked the episode because Weird Al Yankovic,
I mean, yeah.
one of my favorite music artists of all time.
I mean, I like Weird Al, but he's not the reason I liked the episode.
She says, I suppose.
All right. We got an incoming. Lumina!
Hey! Hello.
Like me.
Lumina.
Yay!
I'm a bit tired today myself.
All right. So, apologies for mid-episode.
back-
Apologies for mid-episode introductions, but yes, Lumina's here. Hooray!
Yay!
A new challenger approaches.
Yeah, sorry about that. I fell asleep.
Yeah, it's all right. We're about.
Before it
It's okay.
started.
Yeah, it's okay. We're about.
Fine.
Yeah. Go ahead, Soviet.
What I was gonna say is that again, the episode felt like it went by really fast because it was like felt like episode just began and then immediately into the middle of the episode. I don't know. It just pacing felt weird to me for it, but I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the humor and I enjoyed the gags.
Yeah. Yeah, we're currently talking about the new episode Lumina, just so that you're aware.
Ah, okay.
Soviet and I have already given our thoughts. What was your take on the episode? Did you like it?
It was interesting to see Weird Al again because his music career has kind of stopped. And there was a lot of Easter eggs in it. If you pause, it's like blink and you miss it moments. Like by the door, there's actually a Pinkie Pie plushie.
Yeah, I mentioned that already.
Yeah.
And
And-
the octopus.
Yes, exactly. But it was an interesting episode. It had some fun to it. I kind of missed the character cheese sandwich. I miss
And we'll
Weird
hear
Al's career.
from him again.
Yeah, that's sad.
All right.
This is.
So yeah, overall, fun times. Pacing was a little wonky, but pacing was a little wonky, and I felt the color palette was a bit too drab in parts. But aside from that, overall, seems to be a consensus. Good episode.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's okay for Tom to come back.
Yep.
Somebody type.
All right. Moving on to next topic.
Alright.
Welcome back.
Hey. So, who all has seen the new EQG special, Sunset's Backstage Pass?
Human
I have not.
scum.
No.
I have not either.
I saw it earlier today, like just before we came in here. I was pulling a Soviet and watching the special while waiting for it to be time. So it's pretty fresh in my head. And so I guess I'll start and then we'll go through to each person who's seen it and get their thoughts, but I'll start up. I liked it overall. It's interesting to see the Dazzlings back, even if they had like a bit part in proceedings.
They aren't reformed, technically. They're just living.
They're just trying to scrape by is what they're doing.
Yeah. That just slightly caught me off guard when she finished off the song by just dropping the mic and muttering human scum.
What a bitch.
There's about to be a murder of potentially immortal beings.
But yes, overall, I definitely enjoyed it very much. Probably one of the bits that stuck out to me most, besides Sunset just having the whole day down to a T after going through it so many times. One of the bits that stuck with me is that first bit where Rainbow accidentally smacks her in the ass with her oar or guitar or whatever the fuck it is.
The guitar.
Yeah, guitar. And the one of those that I found the most amusing is the time when she did it and then Sunset immediately declares, "Thank you!" because she's getting to do the day over again and she really wanted to so she could do it right. And Rainbow smacking her in the ass by accident with her guitar is like the indicator that it's the same day. And so as far as Rainbow's concerned, she just accidentally slapped Sunset's ass and Sunset's thanking her. And it's weird. And you can see her blushing as she's walking off screen like, did I just arouse my friend by slapping her in the ass? I imagine that was actually the point of that subtle blush there, was just for that little very subtly hidden adult joke, because we know kids and family stuff like to hide adult jokes in plain sight all the time.
especially in MLP because they know the audience is largely adult.
Oh yeah, definitely, totally. They love to hide that shit in there. But
Subtle things and perhaps not so subtle mature things as in the latest trailer.
like half the city blowing up.
Yep.
Mhm.
Fuck you, fuck your town, and fuck your civilian population.
And Paladin is effed again.
Star Swirl. Canterlot is depending on us. Canterlot explodes. Star Swirl. Shocked Pikachu face.
Thousands dead.
We have live reports from the scene here. Thousands displaced, probably more injured and being moved to local hospitals. We have no idea what caused this horrendous explosion, but we're sure the authorities will figure it out soon.
Yeah, that's one of the authorities right now having another Dragon Ball Z fight.
We're supposed to be talking about a question goes right now, not the upcoming finale. That's later. But I think the only part of it I dislike, and even though this is only more of a minor gripe, is how aggro Sunset got towards Pinky. I mean, I understand it, but it just felt a little extreme for her character. I don't know.
I mean, she's always had those slips back into being a bitch.
Yeah, she's always had a bit of a temper going. We know this. It just felt like it was a bit much, comparatively speaking. That's all. Compared to the progress she's made the rest of the time. I mean, especially after the whole ordeal with the Memory Stone and whatnot back in Forgotten Friendship, where she was having that whole psychological meltdown about and questioning, the whole whether or not she really was a nice person even after everything she'd been through and all that. I don't know, just thinking about it, it seemed. I mean, this is a minor gripe. I still liked the special overall. It was a lot of fun. I am fond of time loop scenarios like that. They're interesting and fun and whatnot.
She was in there for 3 weeks.
Indeed.
God.
Possibly longer, but yeah, she was in there a while.
Oh no, she said at the end, "That's the longest 3 weeks of my life."
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I must have missed that bit.
Yeah, like there was multiple times throughout where she was counting off the days.
Right. Well,
Like,
anyways.
it took her 15 days to remember. Oh yeah, I can call Princess Twilight, who not in a time because she's in another universe. Probably should have been the first thing she done, but well.
Yep. Yeah, well. But yeah, overall, fun. Fun times were had. So yeah, we've managed to kill about 30 minutes doing that. We got one more initially planned topic, and that is, of course, the continuing adventures of Crimson the Dragon. Darkness, you got
Indeed.
stuff lined up?
Yep.
All right, take it away.
Okay. Last time, the adventurers reached the castle. First, before they decide to kick down the door, they decided to politely knock upon it. No answer. Aston went to knock it down. He rolled a critical success only to do a backward flip and fall straight on his face because the doors just flinged open before his foot became in contact with it. And his face was critically damaged. Critical success equals critical damage to himself.
Brilliant.
But luckily, he got healed up, and now the Crimson's decided to find the treasure. She doesn't care for the rescuing part. Mirren's gone with her. As for the other 4 adventurers, they decided to split up into 2 groups as well. Doran and Zavea decided to check the middle part of the castle, since Crimson and Mirren are going up. As for Nevarin and Aston, they are going downstairs into the dungeon to see if there's anyone down there. Yeah. And also, Crimson came across a room where there was a treasure chest, but she didn't. Her dragon senses told her there was danger nearby, and just clocked in her head. She just blew fire at the chest, which revealed to be a mimic, which burned alive, then died a horrific death. and Miriam rushing over to find the horrified monster completely scorched. And this is where the story continues. So after that horrific noise that echoed around the castle, Doran and Zavea was looking around and had no luck whatsoever. Although they are looking up some history on this castle, since they've been coming across a lot of paintings and statues, and of course a few old letters about this place. They're not exactly sure who it belongs to, but there have been many people showing up here and going missing. But they cannot explain what could have been the cause of it yet, but they're telling to get to the bottom of it and hopefully find anyone who needs help. As for Aston and Nevain, they were looking around downstairs and they were having not much luck. Until they heard a noise, which they went to investigate. And Aston got a bit ahead because he's the one that's lighting the way, where Nevain's basically got her bow and arrow at the ready. But as soon as he walked into this room, the doorway just closed behind him, and all he saw behind him now was just a wall. And Nevain is on the other side. So they got split up, and she has to find a way to get to him. It appears the dungeon has some unusual traps, which turns it into a bloody maze. And it's constantly shifting every few minutes. But Aston was very close to the sound, so he decided to go a bit closer towards it, but at a cautious, slow distance. And then he saw someone standing right in front of him. He called out to the mysterious person. No response. He went to go a little bit closer, and then he had to roll for awareness, which he rolled a high number, which told him some important information. There was a weird, vile smell surrounding him, and he also hears some weird crackling and breaking noises, like something clicking. And then he noticed, when the bit of the light was shining upon the mysterious figure in front of him, that it was moving odd, like it was slowly turning its head towards him, and then started to make even more loud noises, which started to split open with loads of strange limbs coming from it. Aston, at this point, for the first time in his life, was horrified by the sight. He went to throw fire at it. It did do a sort of amount of damage, and it went down, and he thought that was it, until it started moving again. But this time, where it was completely split in half by his fire, it was now in two parts moving towards him.
What was this creature? Did your friend actually specify which creature from Dungeons and Dragons this is? Because it sounds pretty interesting.
He tried to say the name, but for some reason he couldn't say it, which is a bit of a pain. So I have been constantly looking up D&D monsters to try to find out what the hell it is. Unfortunately, no such luck yet. But I really want to know what this creature is, but from the sounds of it, it's horrifying. You're just blown a bit off, that bit becomes sentient, and it comes after you. Realizing that Aston has made a critical mistake and error, he's decided to leg it. It didn't get far. As he was running down this hallway, while the creature was still behind, where the two creatures were still behind him, he heard a click sound where his left leg hit, which then raised this trap from the ground, which just fucking clamped onto his leg, which caused him to fall over. And the creature split into two was slowly heading towards him. He went to try to get back up, but then his right arm got caught in another device nearby. So now, all he can do is be stuck in a position where he's blasting it with fire, trying to slow it down. As for Nevaeh, she was trying to get to him as she was hearing his screams. Until she got fed up with these hallways keep changing, she found out that the hallways are controlled by some form of mechanism, which she managed to jam it, where she could slip through a few hallways to get to him. She managed to just made it in time while the creature was very close to Aston, and then she got an arrow which had a little, something like a strange little flag stack on it. And then when she shot the arrow towards the creature, it just freaking exploded on contact. Which obviously the creature is still not dead. It's still trying to reform back into whatever being it can be, or even just become sentient in its pieces in case after Aston. But it gave her enough time to disable the traps and get Aston out of the dungeon. But she had to carry him since he was in bad condition. But the creature was still trying to come after them, so then she unjammed the mechanism and allowed the hallways to basically continuously rotate, hoping they'd lose it even more. And as soon as they got up to the top, they shut the door behind them. And they could not believe what was down there, nor did they want to know what it was. But all they know is they had to meet up with the others and tell them what they have found, and hope that creature stays down there and doesn't find a way up to them. As for Doran and Nevaeh, they were still looking around and they actually managed to find something, but it was unfortunate news. It appears, from the looks of it, they were too late to save the people because they went into this room, which was all pitch black, until Doran lit a torch and there were dead bodies everywhere. Some of them still fresh, but pretty much dead. Which they tend to find out that the reason why they all died is because as there was a bloody message written on the wall, I feel my mind being torn apart every moment I'm in here. This castle will not let me leave. There are horrifying monsters I never thought existed that live in here. We tried to find a way out, but little success. Those who get outside were unable to make it either. But we reckon the cause of this madness is the artifact we have found. If you find this artifact, destroy it and you might have a chance. That's if you can find it. So it appears whatever's happened at this castle, there seems to be an old artifact that's been causing everyone's madness, and the castle apparently won't let them leave. Whether that's the power of the illusion, or there's some form of evil force preventing those from escaping. Or maybe it's the artifact's doing. Either way, after this important information, they need to get back to the others and also find a way out of this place as fast as possible. As for Mirren and Crimson, at this point, they were getting near to the top floor. Crimson's looking for like a throne room, oil chamber, anything that will have valuables. As for Mirren, he's cautiously looking in every room to see if he can find anyone. He heard a cry of help, but then he went to call Crimson over, which Crimson replied, "You go ahead, Mirren, I'm just looking in this room." "Are you sure? I'm just going to go down here. I heard someone calling out for help. I think we should both go." No. You can handle it. You do your heroics, and I do my treasure hunting. Just be careful. I can assure you, if it's another mimic, I can handle it. But knowing how big this castle is, I wouldn't be surprised. I think you should be careful. The mimic might be able to mimic civilians. Please don't put that thought in my head. So as he went to go down where the voice is coming from, Crimson went into the room, which it looked like a royal chambers, but there's a bit of a disappointment. The only thing that looks like worth of value were 2 mirrors, which she didn't really care for that much. But she checked everywhere before she left the room. She checked under the bed, she checked in closets, she even checked behind the mirrors, but nothing. But as she was about to leave, the door was gone. There was nothing but a wall.
Oh boy.
And when she turned around, even the whole room has changed. The bed is gone, everything in the room is gone, even the windows, except for the 2 mirrors. For some reason, they are still there. Either way, she was just looking around, started to panic a bit, for just the night to be closed and locked, for she could not process what just happened. One moment she was in a room, now she's trapped, and from looks to be a prison with only 2 mirrors. She tried to blast a fire at multiple places, even racked the wall, but nothing happened. No, a single bit of damage. Until she heard a voice in the room. She looked around, but she couldn't find where it was coming from. Until the voice went, "Over here." And then as she pinpointed the noise, it came, which she could not believe it. It came from one of the mirrors. Her own reflection was talking to her.
Oh boy, spooky magics.
I didn't mean to startle you. But I don't think panicking in this room is going to get us out anytime soon. Wait. Us? What do you mean, us? Wait, how are you even talking to me? You're meant to be just a reflection, unless mimics can do some unorthodox things like this. I don't think mimics are capable of this. All I know is I'm basically your better half. Better half? Ugh. Don't. You're gonna make me sick. There's no harm in smiling now and then. The only time I smile is when I get treasure. Is that all you care about? Your friends are risking our lives. Wait, friends? They're not friends. Not at all. Then what are they to you? They are nothing but mere prey if I ever get hungry. All right, then. Then why haven't you eaten them? It's because she's getting sick and sickly kind-hearted like you. Oh no. And then the other mirrors started to talk on the right side. Which this one seemed a lot more negative than the other reflection. Great, now I've got two talking reflections. If there's any one of us you should listen to, it's definitely me, not her. She's completely delusional. She thinks we should be friends with our prey. Please, they are below the food chain where we are on the top. They are nothing but livestock waiting for the slaughter. Not to mention, it's thanks to them we have delayed our ultimate goal, building a mighty horde. We don't have to be surviving all the time. Nonsense. The only way we claim this world is pure dominance. Listen to me. This is the best advice I can give to all of us. I say we take this castle as our own. We kill them, take their valuables, build a horde, and then we attack the nearby villages. Then work ourselves up. That's a terrible idea, and we can't kill our friends. Stop calling them our friends. They are not.
Poor Crimson having a little internal crisis of identity. I love it.
Yep. It's Crimson's stuck right in the middle of this, and she doesn't know what to think of it.
I'm just waiting for the part where she gets pissed at them talking for her and tells them both to shut the fuck up. Is that what happens? Does she wind up telling them both to just be quiet?
Well, let's see. Listen, I don't care what you two say. I decide my own fate. You decide a fate. You mean we decide the fate? Listen. How do you think we survived all these years? We survived through your ruthless tenacity to not take shit off anyone. Not kind-hearted emotion. That's not exactly true. We had dark times too. We don't talk about those. Forget about them. Who cares? A few lives were lost along the way. So what? We survived. But at what cost? Listen, don't listen to her. I think you should just meet up with the others, work as a team, and just before she could finish her sentence, the other reflection was getting so pissed she managed to reach her tail across and strangle the other one. And she was completely helpless as the negative emotions tail just, or I just call it negative Crimson, just went around, and her tail went around positive Crimson's throat and was strangling her.
Oh, Jesus.
You see, kindness is a form of weakness. She can't even defend herself. The only way we could survive if we believe what we were born and supposed to do in life. What would the elders think of us? We are bringing a disgrace to our entire race, for goodness sake. You should be ashamed for ever thinking of these kind of emotions. Now, do us a favor and smash this idiot to oblivion and choose me. The only way we're getting out of this room, if you choose me. And the other one would say, don't listen to her, but at this point, she's just being choked to death. And at this point, Crimson was at the breaking point. She had enough. So not only did she smash one mirror, she decided to smash both of the mirrors. And as soon as she did, and even breathed fire everywhere in a rage and panic, the room was back to normal. And it appears she actually set a few things on. But as she walked out the doorway, she heard a voice still in her head. You may escape this room, but you can't escape your fate. Face it, you will never be able to escape yourself. And then she looked back. The mirrors were still smashed, and there was no reflection of her, except for the shard broken pieces. that did reflect her. And then she carried on out the room. As for Mirren, he did find someone chained up, which he went over to try to break the chains to free them as she was crying for help. But unfortunately, his sword didn't even damage the chains. Instead, as soon as the sword came down on the chain, he was blown back like freaking Gimli when he struck the one wing. Boom. And as he got back up, the one who was enchained to this struggled to speak. You can't break the chain. You have to destroy the crystal. The what? Crystal. What crystal? As she managed to move her hand just about to point upwards, and he looked up, and there was this huge crystal sparking out unstable, powerful energy. Oh, that crystal. So if I smash that, you will be free from the chains, right? And stop the madness. Hurry. I think I'm gonna need help because I can't. He asked how high it was. It was way too high for him to reach, and it appears there was no stairs by him. That's to. Which is thinking of ways to get up there until Crimson walked into the room. What? What are you thinking? Crimson, I'm gonna need a lift. I'm not your frickin' mount. Well, I need to get up there. Okay. Wait, Crimson. Remember the game Toss the Dwarf? No. I played Toss the Human.
I want Toss the Dwarf.
She grabbed hold of Mirren, flinged him up in the air. Unfortunately, it was a pretty low wall, so when she did flip him up in the air, he almost got high enough, but his head hit one of the balconies and then he fell back down. Are you still alive? Good, we're going to go again.
Yeet the dwarf.
Yeet.
Oh, there goes Paladin again.
Now I know how Dawn feels. Crimson, wait! Before you throw me again, can't you just fly up there and take out the crystal yourself? That's a good point. I could do that. But I remember the last time when I went near anything that's got magic. It hurt like hell. Sorry. I just flinged him up again. But this time he did manage to make it as he was just holding on for dear life onto a ledge. Pulled himself up. You know, if you fall again, you might actually die. I'm aware of that. I'm not going to fall. By the way, do you know how you're going to break it? I'm going to try to whack it. Good luck with that. Let me know how that goes. Don't expect me to catch you. Which he went to whack his sword into the crystal. Quite the same result, like with the chain. But luckily he didn't fall completely down. So he had to think of a way to take it down. And that's when he noticed something. The crystal was also being held and supported. So he went to strike down all of its support. And as he did, this huge crystal started to get loose and starts to fall. And as it did, it managed to fall from one part of the room, which almost hit Crimson, which she wasn't amused. But she managed to dodge it. But as soon as it did, the crystal had a huge crack on it and it started to spark out of control. And then Crimson didn't like the look of this since it was right next to her, so she wrapped it with one of her limbs. And the crystal started to fall out of the room down a flight of stairs, which also managed to smash at the bottom. But as it did, not only was the prisoner freed, but then the whole entire castle started to shake and start to look a bit unpleasant. At this point, they started to bolt out of there.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, it's kind of Indiana Jones moment. So while they were basically running all the way down the stairs to get out of the castle, Aston and Surveyor managed to meet up with Aston and Neviran managed to meet up with Dawn and Surveyor. And as they did, they noticed the castle started to fall apart and also start to look even more ancient than it actually was, which is a key for them to get out. But as they did, fortunately, that's when Aston saw something he wanted. So he pushed away Nevayan that was holding him, and he quickly hobbled over to grab something and then hobbled back to catch up with the others, which he looked like he wasn't going to make it until he accidentally lost it and fell down a little flight of stairs, which managed to get to the he fell flat on his face again onto the floor. He freaking fell through.
And what was the thing he wanted?
Which he was revealed once they get out, and when they did, the castle was crumbling down to the ground to nothing, and the forest that was once all full of life was completely dead. No life around. Whoa. So the crystal was that powerful to create an entire illusion, even on the outside? Looks to be that. Besides that, what the hell did you go back for, you idiot? You almost died. Again. I had to get it. What? It's beautiful. It's a mace. You are shitting me. I always wanted a mace. You risked your life for a fucking mace. To be fair, the mace was an arcane weapon as well.
Enchanted, so...
It would work with his powers.
Nice.
You know what I could do with this? Cast fire with it. Not just cast fire. Mace, smash, burn. Mace, smash, burn. Oh no.
Burn.
Yes.
Burn.
Unlimited power.
Unlimited power to burn.
Yeah. Something tells me we made a terrible mistake keeping him that mace. Let's just let him keep it to shut him up. Right, let's heal him up and head back and tell them what happened. They managed to head back to the tower and reported what happened, and of course they still managed to... Where they didn't save everyone, they did manage to save one person. But she was a bit hesitant to go back into town. Like he was hiding something, like a of such. Which, unfortunately, we have to find out that next time. Because we're nearly out of time, aren't we?
Yep, pretty much. We got about a minute left, so might as well just close off here. So, all right. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, so much for tuning in to this episode of Jibber Jabber. Sorry for ending a minute late, or a minute early, but what are you going to do? We can't really fill in 60 more seconds, so we'll see y'all next time, people. Until then, keep listening. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.